Moving straight to our discussion for the day, talking about the ANAMBRA GUBER election, the 34,000 troops questions. We have helicopters also, and of course some serious ammunition going to Anambra State in course of the election. Do you think this is worth it? Many Nigerians have been asking questions. Are we at war in Anambra State? Big question. With me to do this talk, they're all legal practitioners, yes. Starting from my immediate left, he is also a chief. Join me to welcome Barrister A.B. Thomas. Welcome to TMI on this edition. I appreciate your coming.
Good morning, viewers at home, and thank you for having me here.
All right, sitting very close to him is another legal practitioner, Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo. Welcome to TMI on this edition.
Good morning, Nigerians. It's a pleasure to be here.
I appreciate your comment. And of course, Cosmos Arabo, a legal practitioner. It's been a while. It's been a while. Welcome to today's edition of TMI.
Thank you so much.
All right. Barrister A.B. Thomas, 34,000 troops. No jokes. What do you think led to this? Because Nigerians are worried.
Well, the Anambra election is supposed to be an election, but from the antecedents before now, you will discover that IPOD has taken over the entire eastern states. With this, their daily Monday sit at home, and from there we have been having this unknown gunmen killing people. Then the campaign towards this Anambra election has become something of a war. Assassinations, thuggery, disruptions of campaigns. So it has been a problem. Then court cases here and there. With all this, there was the propensity that there might be violence. And it required the calling of security agencies to come and ensure that the constitutional mandate of INEC is carried out. But be that as it may be, no reasonable person in Nigeria will support the deployment of 34,000 troops to a small state like Anambra. I don't think Anambra has got up to 30 local government councils. I don't think so. Because if they were to have 30 local government councils, then you say you are taking 1,000 troops to one local government council. And in the army, I don't know what they call that. Why that one is a brigade or a division or a battalion. I don't know. So it is not war.
All right.
When you do such things, you have the propensity of not securing what you tend to secure. Okay. You end up scaring voters.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Barrister Emmanuel Obakpolo, you've been an advocate of good governance or for good governance. What are your feelings about this?
If one is strict to express oneself, just like my learned senior said, one will be tempted to make a lot of criticism, of which I am doing just now. Anambra State is not at war, but we see a situation where even the politicians have created room for all of the drama we are seeing in Anambra State just now. In Anambra State, as it stands just now, you have majorly 3 political parties contesting for the seat of the governorship in that state. That is APC, All Progressive Congress, the or People's
Progressive Grand Alliance, yeah, APGA.
then the PDP. These are the three major political parties on ground in that state. And you find out that now the APC is at the federal, and with the dramatic defection and decamping we've been seeing, so the APC on their own side, they appear to be double sure that this election will be a litmus test for them, so they would want to win it as a party. Then the party in power in that state also want to show that, look, over the years we've maintained our superiority in this state and we want to keep it. Then the PDP is also coming to say, oh, once upon a time we had it and we lost it somehow, so we want to go back to retain it. And all of this, you see a lot of drama. Then the IPOP is there, then which now metamorphosed to what is now known as unknown gunmen. Then now, for the side of the ruling party at the federal, so okay, now let us deploy troops to Anambra State. I don't think there is any reason for that. If the government of the day, both at the federal and the state level, had done the needful.
All right.
And that is why you see this drama, and a lot of us are now complaining. If we had this kind of troop to be deployed to Anambra State, we can also deploy them to other states where we have problems in Nigeria. But that is not happening just now. But let's see how it goes.
Okay. There's a Cosmos Irabo. They said on one hand it was expected, on the other hand we are not at war. We put it that Anambra State comprises of 21 local government areas. Some are saying the number is not even enough. Knowing fully that the threat of IPOB is imminent. You get to hear, sit at home, you get to hear we are not part of this entity. You get to hear no election will take place in Anambra State. He said 4,000 even enough.
Well, my position is simple. Like I always say here, I want to speak like the common man in the streets. There have been elections in Anambra State. It's not been like this. Every rational government will want to first of all find out or ask the why question. Like I've said here several times, the unfortunate thing is that in Nigeria, it's almost impossible asking the why question. Instead, we ask when and how. When do we do it? How do we do it? But why should we do it? They don't ask. I remember 2015. Election took place even in areas where Boko Haram was killing people. We didn't have this number of troops. Results were called, and people emerged winners. Why is it that it's Anambra? My respected brother here said something. There's power of occupancy and others. This particular APC is in federal level. And of course, the APC-led government is that who controls the troops. I'm a politician. In my capacity as a politician, we can smell certain things. Who is doing the voting? The indigenous or the troops? And this they say these are the troops mobilizing, not the ones already on ground. If you add ones on ground with that one, of course, you know the number that you have. You bring the short troops, bring the helicopters and everything for election. Why have the Boko Haram been there for about 12, 13 years now? Nothing is taking place. Not a single person to minority has been prosecuted. You are using that for an election only. Where were you when the problem came up? Who question will answer? Because why they say they are doing this because of IPOB, as alleged, is it not? IPOB is attacking. Where were you before it got to that level? Why is it that IPOB did not surface during the time of Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, and Goodluck Jonathan? In this problem, this country, we are reactive. We are not proactive. A reasonable and rational government should be reactive. Proactive. What are these people asking? What have you done? When somebody starts complaining, it means that the person is not happy with regards to some areas. He's not satisfied. Then the next thing you do is, what is the area? And for crying out loud, you are in a federation. I know there are rules guiding a federation. You can come in, you can go out. I'm not saying they should go out. But what I'm saying is that if there's an agitation, find out why. I remember during the time of Boko Haram, Jonathan asked them, what do we do for this matter, for everything, so that you can lay down your arms? They say you must leave that position, meaning they were not ready. These people, have you asked them? They are not saying we want to kill, we want to do. They only say we are not satisfied with what is going on in Nigeria. Let us go. You say you must stay and die. That's not proper. So what I'm saying in essence is, deploying that number of troops, first of all, is scary. And whether they like it or not, in my own view, belief, I know that IPOB controls. If they can say sit at home, and the people will sit at home, even when they are not wearing whatever
regalia,
you know they know what they are doing. The people believe in them.
Okay, we'll come back to you on that. Now, for what you said, you mentioned the atrocities committed by this proscribed group, and we'll talk about a number of voters, close to 2.525 million people in Anambra State are eligible to go out there to vote. Now, sum it up with the number of troops and, of course, the threat of IPOB. What do you think this will lead to on that day? Do you think that the IGP is right for doing what he did? Because divide this number by a number of local government, don't forget also military presence, NSCDC, they've not talked about theirs. I mean, but people like saying that this is not enough. You get to see the uncalled for killings in Anambra State. It's about saying you have to increase the number. What's your take on this?
Elections will take place in Anambra. The people of Anambra are civilized people. When they obey IPOD, it is for a cause, as we have all agreed here. It is for a cause. And IPOD or Eastern Security Network, ESN, and the politicians would not want a state of emergency declared in Anambra, whereby you appoint a military governor to go and be ruling Anambra. They don't want that. Election will take place in Anambra. But the point is this. When you send 34,000 troops, particularly when 3/4 of those troops are going to be soldiers, and those soldiers are not going to come from the south. I can assure them that. Do not say I'm speculating. Because I have seen it happen again here.
Yeah.
They are going to come from Zamfara. They are going to come from Jigawa. Who has no brothers or sisters in Anambra who are ready to kill anybody. So what you will find will happen on that day is that out of the 2.5 million people you are thinking registered to vote, you will have less than 1.2 million voting. And that will not represent 50% of those who have registered to vote. And that will bring an unpopular governor, unpopular government. We have reached a stage in Nigeria where we should have what is called participatory democracy. Participatory democracy. Not when you have a democracy of anointed people. Because when you chase away people who want to vote with the sheer fear of the magnitude of armed men, what you find are those who think they are anointed to vote. I've just heard Melele Bras talking of Melele Bras, not one, talking of APC. In civilized countries, the moment election is over, the party that won at the center does not control the armed forces. It does not. It becomes the function of the executive. But here, I remember Oshomole those days saying, look, we are in power. What do you mean by we are in power? Election is over and it is over. Then the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary takes over their functions.
Okay.
But the moment you feel that because a political party, whether PDP or ABGA or LP, is at the federal level, and that party will begin to control the armed forces, that is wrong.
Okay. All right. Some are saying that the situation in Anambra State is like that of a tangled web. You are solving one problem, creating another problem. They are saying that are coming to forestall IPOB of coming to disrupt the election. If fully aware that there are some killings recorded in Anambra State and of course some other states in the east, occasioned by unknown gunmen. And here we are also, our political party want to become the ruler in Anambra State, ruling class. We have ABGA, like you rightly said, and of course PDP. With all this mixed together, do you agree to what Barrister Ibetham talked about? Voters, apathy, everyone want to save their head. Not up to 2.5 billion people that are eligible to vote may come out on that day.
Absolutely, that is the position. Tangled web is even a mild phrase to be used. Because in the first place, the problem on ground, who created it? It is the same government that created the problem on ground. And they want to add to the problem. So that at the end of the day, the electorate, they will be scared. People cannot go out to vote. Wilson, for goodness sake, IPOB will declare sit at home every Monday. When you go to the eastern states, particularly in Anambra State, you will not see a soul outside. What has the government of the day done about that? Particularly the federal government. We have a government who does not listen. We have a government that thinks anything that comes to their mind is what they want to do, well, and they will so do it.
So we disagree with you that the government doesn't listen. They tell you they listen. They
it's my opinion.
They pay attention to what is happening.
It's my opinion.
According to some sects.
It's my opinion.
Yeah.
We saw what is happening now. The deployment of 34,000 troops to Anambra State. For me, it's not surprising at all, because we already saw that the Attorney General of the Federation came out to, even if he had the power, as at that day he was making the speech, he would have declared a state of emergency in Anambra State. So this is just a kind of acid test to see whether what is already in their mind can be manipulated and bring to bear. And that is why you see today, how many persons, just like you stated, we have less than 3 million voters, registered voters in Anambra State. Good. Less than. So now you are having this kind of troop. In addition to the one already there, you want to create a scenario as if there is war in Anambra State. Then if there is war in Anambra State, why not prosecute that war first before election cannot be held? But you bring the two together at the same time and you begin to give an impression as if you are doing something. Meanwhile, you are creating more problem. We'll see. Many of the electorates will not go out to vote. Then the question now is, just as my learned senior said, who do you now bring an unpopular government into power? Just as we saw one drama in Imo State. We are not done with that. And now you want to add another one through the barrel of the gun. There was a judicial one in Imo State. Now you want to use the barrel of the gun to bring another government into power. Then at the end of the day, you say our party is growing. You begin to boast. Because see the dramatic, just like I did say, dramatic defection here and there. You say our party is growing, everybody. Meanwhile, behind the curtain, some persons have been threatened to be prosecuted for one form of corruption or the other, and they say, okay, if you the only license out of this is for you to come to our party. Just as we saw the former national chairman of the party that said any person that comes to APC, your sins are forgiven. So that is what we are seeing just now in Anambra State. And if the government and INEC, the commission that will now deal with the election, at the end of the day, let me speculate then. If we have less than 5,000 electorates go out to exercise their rights, their civic rights, what type of election, what type of result are you going to declare?
Good question. And that brings to mind what some persons are like saying, that this may just be another form of preference, so to speak, votes, another form of manipulating or subjugating the will of the people due to the presence of state security personnel in Anambra State. Do you agree to that school of thought?
My brother, if I say 100%, I'm not even telling you the truth. You see, as a politician, there are certain things that we know in Nigeria here. Nigeria is one country where elephants can fly. The only time our government is proactive is when they are preparing for election. Aside that, nothing else follows. Now the trick there, as much as I believe, is this. Bring these troops, announce it, scare the people so that the people don't come. Genuine people, so to say. Now what happens? You bring your party people from different states. Those ones who are thugs in different states, who you have told, giving money, say forget the troops, they won't do anything. You bring them, they will not overwhelm, the few individuals that will be willing, to come and to express themselves. They do the voting. Those ones will come and do the voting, and your candidate is declared. That's just the trick there. No, we all know all this. So the real people.
Are you speculating on what's been done or manipulation?
As much as I know as a politician, in Nigeria, as much as my opinion I know as a politician in Nigeria, these are tricks that take place. There are talks, well-known talks in states, different states, just as we have in Edo. We know the ones in Edo. Mobilize 50, mobilize 100, mobilize 500. They put them in buses. You saw during the last election how some people were taken from Edo to Akwa Ibom and other places. So you mobilize them from everywhere. They are the people that you will see there. And they are the people that will vote. Who counts the vote? Is it not INEC? Of course, we know that INEC is tied to the prospering of a particular government. They appointed them. At the end of the day, like my respected senior here said, an unpopular person comes out and begins to do unpopular things, like we are seeing in one of the states in the southeast. You are acting against the wish and will of the people. And people say that is your own governor, not our own governor. Then the question was asked, is that democracy? So everything happening is to negate the maintenance of democracy. That's the actual truth here. So deploying those troops, to me, is funny. You are telling the world that you are deploying so troops for an election. And that's the only way where the people come out willingly to choose their leader. You are coming with jets, helicopters, flying in the air. Why have we not used that for Boko Haram and capture them? Headers are everywhere. People are in our bushes. You've not done that. They are killing people. That does not matter to you. The one that matters is you want to win the election at all costs. Is it not funny? I'm like, brother, that is funny.
But are you going to blame them? Because IPOB is threatening already that election will not hold in Anambra State.
IPOB said election will not hold. Did IPOB say they are going to kill anybody? If IPOB said sit at home, is it violent?
Okay.
If the people listen and believe IPOB that says sit at, you should know that IPOB is in charge. You should tell us the truth. If there can be somewhere you're not seeing there, they say sit at home, the people sat at home. You should know that the people believe in them. Then the rational government should call them and discuss with them. Nigeria should learn to sort out things, not fight out things.
I would like to look at two areas from our discussions. If we say we have a federal government that cannot solve a single problem unless when there is election, let's take two issues. Edo State election. And let's say take what Governor Ibiazu of Abia State said last week. If you have problem of iPod, say sit at home, and the government knew before now that there will be election in Anambra State. What does it cost the federal government to call these INEC people, IPOD people? Look, gentlemen, let's have a peaceful election in Anambra State. We know you are saying Nnamdi Kanu must be released. We will give him fair hearing. But let us have a peaceful election. Why am I taking this line of argument? Governor Ikpeazu said last week that anybody who is wishing IPOD away is wasting his time. That we governors are impotent to say people should go to the streets and go to normal life. The reason being that we governors do not control the coercive force. We don't control the police. If you tell the commissioner of police, please send so number of policemen to an area, he will tell you, I will have to talk to Abuja first. So that problem is there of saying the governors are the chief security officers of their states in the constitution, which is a mere fallacy. So there is an incumbent governor in Anambra today. He cannot direct the commissioner of police to say, stop IPOD from doing anything. And because the people of Anambra, nay, all Eastern states, believe in IPOD, and some obey IPOD out of fear, the federal government has had to send 34,000 troops. What will it solve? It solves nothing. Election day will come, it will go back. IPOD will still declare their own public holidays, and Nigeria continues. Take that of Edo State. If we say because you say you are APC or you are Panadol, you are in charge of elections, you are in charge of election, you are in charge of INEC, you are in charge of this. Edo State people came out and said, Edo not be Lagos. I was one of those who were in the forefront, and I said, I will take part in this election. I will even not campaign, but I will keep on sensitizing people that I do not be Lagos. It wasn't because we hated the other people. It was because we didn't want anybody to dictate to us who will govern us in those states. Unfortunately, if IPOD does not even make any pronouncements in the East, my people in the East are more interested in going to sell in the market than even coming out to vote. Okay. So adding 34,000 troops to it will just be a fait accompli.
All right. By Simon Obakolo, because he just gave two angles from this discussion. An average Igbo man loves business. He just wants to go do it. He wants peace in his environment to really carry out what will put food on his table. Now, do you think that this is partly due to the fact that IPOB choose to make the East ungovernable, so to speak? That is the reason why the people in authority choose to, so call it taking advantage of the situation. Are you really going to blame them? You brought this upon yourself. The governors couldn't handle the situation, and now someone said he wants to help so that there'll be a free, seamless election in Anambra State. Where is the offense in that?
In my introduction, I did say that the problem was created by the government. The federal government created the problem.
How?
Yes, the federal government, these people came out to say, this is what we are agitating for. We saw, for goodness sake, during the leadership of late President Umar Yar'Adua, we saw the Niger Delta agitators. We saw how he brought them together and said, okay, what is the problem? And the man listened to them. And he saw that indeed these persons were making sense, that the agitation was a legal one. And the man said, okay, he called from other persons, what do we do? He resolved the problem. These persons are saying, this is our problem, this is our agitation. You listen to us. And the man up there, the ladder, he say, I will not listen to you people because I never for one day like you.
That's the point.
He never said enough for what they like. He never said that. He never said that. By saying, no, this is our problem on the ground.
Yes. I will take you up on that. The first trip he made out of Nigeria was in South Africa. And when he was asked, are you going to take the whole country as your constituency? He said, do you want me to go and be developing people who get me less than 5%?
By Saidi Thomas, we're not talking about that now. We're not talking about that now. All right, because right now, the people feel because right now, to show solidarity, this said president went to that region. He was there. Was it last month or thereabouts?
How was his reception?
So please continue with discussion on the ground, please. Let's focus on the but calm down. Barrister, please continue with your line of thought.
The federal government created the problem. Look, let me tell you, if the federal government picks just few persons in Nigeria and they are sincere with it to go and resolve the problem in the east, it will be resolved. With 30 minutes, it will be resolved. And the federal government knows that the problem in Anambra State can be resolved. But because they have intentions, now this election must be won in Anambra State and APC must win the election at all costs. That is the reason. They want to tell the whole world, they will tell, just like PDP said some time ago, that PDP is the biggest party in Africa. So they too want to claim that appellage. That is what they want to do. That we have overtaken the biggest party in Africa. We are now the biggest party in Africa. That's why you see all the threats here and there.
34,000 troops.
For goodness sake, that is bigger than a battalion, a brigade. I'm arguing the barrack. It's bigger than a brigade.
If you have 34,000 troops there, as I'm saying on the screen now, now what I'm asking you is this: you don't even need these ones.
Okay.
You can do what you did in Imo State.
By saying please caution by saying Thomas, please. By Sir Cosmos. Go to the Imo State. Anyway, we are talking about Anambra State right now. The 34,000 troops question. That is what has been making the rounds in Nigeria since the IGP made his pronouncement. We have helicopters also, and of course some serious firepower to repel anyone that wants to disrupt the election vis-a-vis IPOB. Let's take a look at the way out of this mess. I want to start off with you. Some people say that this is a case of tangled web. Why, by some others said, is beyond tangled web and it's so messy you don't know how to really tackle this particular situation. What do you think might pan out on that particular day, and what do you also think may be the way to avert crisis in that election?
You see, like my brother here said, those who created the problem can solve this problem within 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
I'm telling you the truth.
Yes. Why not?
30 minutes, they can solve this problem.
Why not?
But because of the history of hatred in my own language,
It is hatred.
You understand? It will be difficult and impossible. Because if you want to go into history, with due respect, with very due respect, you remember when President Buhari was military head of state, and when he took over, when he took over as military head of state, Shehu Shagari was the president. Alese Kwame was the vice president. You understand what I'm saying? But when they took over, what happened? The man who is in charge,
like Shagari
was everything.
Under house arrest.
Why a man whose advice is subject to the acceptance of the president, who is the vice, was in Kirikiri. People still have this in their brains. To mention a few, there are so many of them like that.
Calm down, barrister.
There's a record of this, and you ask yourself, like I did say before now.
Yeah.
I say, how come when Yar'Adua was there, these people did not come out? How come when Obasanjo didn't come, Jonathan was there, they didn't come? How come they are coming out now? You see, there are times you don't talk, but your body language, excuse me, is saying a lot of things. What is the big deal? Coming out to say, what is the problem? Let us solve this problem. And when the people see genuinely you are out to solve the problem, you want to listen to them, of course they will listen to you. As did say, I say in Nigeria, we have failed to sort out things. We want to fight that thing. The man who is doing what he's doing knows what he's doing and is getting the result he wants. Let these people misbehave. Let us deal with them. Who they think they are, we'll deal with them. Those are no issues.
We'll kill them.
That's just the practical.
Nobody said killed Barrister AB for
that. If you said that for true, that was true. And you are going to
hold on.
They are armed.
Just let him anchor. Just let him anchor. Please anchor the point you're making.
That is the situation. If they want to resolve it, like I did say, it's simple. Right. There are people who call not the so-called politicians, the sellouts, because there are people that call themselves leaders. In the actual fact, they are sellouts. We had one in Edo State. Before the people came out to say, we will no longer listen to you. They are sellouts. So you don't pick the sellouts. Pick the leaders.
All right, thank you.
And when you talk to the leaders will call them and say, you see, the Easterners are highly educated and civilized people. They know what they want. If you talk to them, they'll listen. By the time they talk to others, it ends there.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Cosmos Obapolo. Barrister Cosmos Erabo. Barrister Emmanuel Obapolo, your last take on this. What did this really wait for? Because I want to dive into some other part, but the other guests will take care of it. The number kind of factor, not now. But please, in this particular situation, what do you think should be done?
34,000 troops is needless.
Even the presence of IPOP threat.
Yes, the government has time, enough time, ample of time to resolve this matter. So the government should do that. But I know they will not do it because they already have an aim, what they want to achieve. The intent is there and it's clear to every one of us. But I still use this platform to advise the federal government to resolve the matter.
To resolve the matter. All right, Barrister Thomas, you have the last line on this discussion.
I want to appeal to my people in Anambra State. Do what we did in Edo State. 34,000 troops or 34 million troops. Tell them that you will vote the man you will vote for. Come out on that day en masse and go and vote for your candidate of your choice. Don't let them intimidate you. Election is not war. You don't need helicopters or jet fighters. Or armored cars. They are needed in Sambisa forest. Go and vote your conscience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Intimidate them with your coming out en masse to go and vote.
It's getting more and more interesting. On one hand, we have IPOP saying no election must take place or no election will take place in Anambra State. And of course, we have the troops saying you just can't say no election will take place in this state because this is an entity in Nigeria. Election must be there. And of course, typical people might be like, please, I need peace to do my business. How do you think that election will go? Only time will tell. Gentlemen, I appreciate a wonderful analysis. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your views and opinions on this particular topic. I appreciate all of you. The comments is theirs. It has nothing to do with ITV, but did their best possible to follow rules and regulations governing the airwaves. We'll continue with this discussion from another dimension. And of course, we're going to touch on the electoral bill. Yes, the change of result. And of course, the direct primary rule endorsed by the Senate. What are your feelings about this? Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.